You should have already watched part 1, the part on notes and examples. These are practice problems with worked out solutions. So now we're going to do some of the problems we talked about in the last video. Alright, so we're going to try these problems, and I want you to work with your group and compare your answers. So for these 3 problems, first I want you to solve the problem. Remember, when you solve the problem, you draw the line through the inequality sign just like it were an equal sign. So for each one of these problems, go ahead and draw your line through the inequality sign. Use inverse operations just like you have when you were solving equality problems. And then the last thing I want you to do is graph your solution. So press pause now, work with your group, and when you guys are ready, you can start the video to see the solutions. Okay, for the first problem, what you need to do is get the n by itself. So here's our variable. You can put a 1 in front of it if you like. It's 1n. We're going to get the 1n by itself, so what we need to do is subtract 7 from both sides. And when you do that, you get n is greater than -4. When we're graphing this, we need to use an open dot because we don't have an equals bar underneath. -4 is our important number because that's what is on the side opposite the variable, and n is bigger than 4, so our n can be any number to the right of 4 or any number that's bigger than 4. So this is where n lives, to the right of 4. Next problem, we're going to subtract 4 from both sides. For this one, you get 6 is greater than or equal to y. So you're going to make your number line. You're going to have a closed dot because of the equals bar underneath there. Your magic number is 6. It's opposite the variable, and 6 is bigger than any y value. So 6 is bigger than y values. So the y values that would be okay would be anything smaller than 6. So that's where your y values would be. And for the last problem here, we need to undo the division with multiplication. Remember, we always multiply on top. The 6 divided by 6 makes us 1. We're left with n is greater than 42. We're going to have an open dot. Our magic number is 42. And n has to be greater than 42. So n can be any number to the right of 42, which is bigger than 42. Go ahead and press pause if you need to look at the solutions. If you're ready to do some more problems, I will leave those at the top of the paper so you can start the next set of problems. So go ahead, press pause, work with your group, correct the ones that you missed, and then start working on numbers 4, 5, and 6. Alright, let's look at the solutions for 4, 5, and 6. If you think you've got them, you can start 7 and 8. I'm going to work through these a little more quickly this time. And I'm not going to talk it through, so if you want to watch, you can watch. Actually, I am going to talk this one through because this one's a little bit strange. We have to undo the division by multiplication. We're multiplying by a negative. Remember, I said that was a special. We have to flip on that one. So because I multiplied by a negative, we have to flip that sign over and make it a greater than or equal to. Those are going to go away. We're going to be t is greater than or equal to -32. So be really careful whenever you multiply or divide by a negative, you need to flip the sign. And our t is anything greater than -32, so we're going to shade to the right or put your arrow to the right. Okay, for the next one we have to add 9 to both sides. So we get 3 is less than or equal to x. And when you graph it, you have a closed dot. Your magic number is 3, and 3 is smaller than any x values. The x values are over here because 3 is to the left of the x values. Right, and this one we have multiplication, so divide both sides by 2. You get x is greater than -4. Now, even though our answer is -4, we did not divide by a negative. We divided by a positive, so we do not flip here. If you look over here, we multiplied by a negative. That's why we had to flip on this one. So when you graph this one, you need an open dot. Your magic number is -4, and x has to be greater than -4 or anything to the right. All right. Go ahead and work on 7 and 8. If you need to pause the video right now to work on that, go ahead. And when you're done, start it up and we'll have more solutions. Alright, here we go. Let's see what we can do with these. So for this one, I need to add 5 to both sides. So I get z is less than 6, open dot, 6, and z has to be less than or to the left of 6. Here we're going to divide by a negative. Ooh, we're dividing by a negative. Remember, what do you have to do? We have to flip because we're multiplying or dividing by a negative. So let's flip that sign around, and you get s is greater than or equal to -2. So we have our magic number -2, and it's under a closed dot, and our s is bigger than. Alright, now this video is also posted online, so check Schoology if you need to rewatch it, and good luck. I'll see you next week.